Hi, welcome to the newest episode of Afterthoughts, starring me, DrunkGh0st. This title aptly called DrunkGh0st Goes to See Ghost. So, this previous weekend, first, for those of you that don't know what the Afterthoughts segment is I decided that anytime I do something that for the channel, whether it's a vacation, whether it's a video game, whatever, or in this case, I didn't record anything at the concert because they don't allow you to, but I wanted to tell you guys about it. I decided I'm going to finish the project, whatever, let it cook for a little bit, and then come back and maybe give you some thoughts post-project on what I thought of it. So tonight, sorry about that, allergies. So tonight, I am going to talk to you about the concert I went to on Friday. It was the same weekend as Lollapalooza here in Northern Illinois, and it was for a band called Ghost. Now, some of you might know Ghost. I think they used to be called Ghost.bc or Ghost BC before Christ. There's a lot of religious overtones and undertones in their music, mostly not liking religion and them being like a dark religion kind of thing going on. That's the stage show and the persona they portray. I would kind of classify them as dark metal maybe. A lot of people say metal, but there's different genres of it, right? Like some of their stuff had a hint of Iron Maiden sounding to it, some of it a little bit of some 80s bands, some a little Metallica, stuff like that. But dark, I say dark metal because of the content. So I'd seen them before, and I saw them open for Iron Maiden back 12 years ago, something like that. And they were an up-and-coming band. Like I said, they were opening for Maiden. And I remember thinking, okay, the stage show's interesting. They're dressed like bishops and the Pope or something like that. With the gowns, and they were wearing masks to, like, I don't know, so they don't get noticed. I don't know. But they were wearing these creepy masks, and it was kind of cool. It was very Alice Cooper-ish, stage show kind of thing. Well, a hint of it, but I said very, but I guess a hint of it, because this time around, the way the frontman walked around the stage and talked and portrayed himself was very Alice Cooper-ish to me. So I thought that was cool. At the time when I saw them the first time, I didn't think their music was that great. They had one song I really liked, maybe two, and then over the years, I've kind of checked on them here and there, but never really got into them as much as other people had. So last November, my buddy's like, hey, do you want to go see Ghost in August? I'm like, we need to do this now? He's like, oh, yeah, they're going to sell out. I'm skeptical, but all right, fine. So me, my daughter, him and his daughter, all go. And let's see. So we get there. And I was not looking forward to going. Not because I didn't want to see my buddy, but I'm like, I'm not going to care for this. It's not going to be that good a show. Even my daughter were like, why did we sign up for this? So the fan base was cool. I didn't see any major issues. I didn't see any fights or nothing. Not that they weren't any. I just didn't see it. The people that were sitting by us or that we were standing by waiting in line were all really cool. A lot of them dress up like the band members. Oh, one thing. It was interesting because it was a no cell phone show. So we drove to my buddy's house, and me and my daughter left our phones in my car. Because what am I going to need it for? At the show, his daughter left her in her car, and he had his because he had the tickets on it. The minute we walked through with the tickets, they put your phone in this pouch. And it's not like an RF blocking pouch. So if you have like a smartwatch, you can still look and see what your messages are. And like mine lets you respond with some canned, stuff. In my Android watch, when I had that, you were able to type on it. So the idea is a lot of places are doing this now. They lock the phones in this thing, and you have to have an RF, it looks like an RFID reader to unhook it. And everyone's dressed in their goth, ghost costumes, looking like the Catholic, a dark version or a slutty version of the Catholic Church, which, hey, I was all for, with these giant ass gray pouches hanging off their necks on lanyards. I get that it was the band's request, and I get that lead singer and the writer, I guess they don't write the music. I guess somebody, from what it sounds like from a guy we talked to, the writer hates cell phones because he says they take away from the experience of the concert and you should live in the moment. Now, I can kind of relate to that because when I see people do nothing but film the whole concert, I kind of agree with that. I like taking a picture of the stage periodically throughout, maybe a short video of a, part of a song I like, and that's it. I don't go like all out where I'm like, we'll hold it right here. And I'm not some asshole that comes out with an iPad and holds it up. So understanding that part of it, that people want to do that, I get why people would be frustrated about it. But that being said, I do see where the band's coming from. And it is a live event. And you might never see them again. They might break up. You might just not go again. So being there and experiencing the show real time is very important. Like I said, I can take a couple pictures and put the phone away. A lot of people can't. So, but let's start with the stage show. So these guys come out. I don't know a lot of their new music. I like I said, checked here and there once in a while to see what they were doing. Never really got too far into them. So the stage show was awesome. Great. The set was cool. There was smoke. There were pyrotechnics. The drummer's kit was like chrome and black, and it really stood out. It really popped. Behind them, they had like they were projected there, but there were stained glass windows like a church, because Ghost is, like I said, there's dark religious imagery and stuff. And no, I did not convert to another religion. To me, it's just music, and it's a stage show, and I enjoy it for what it is. I've said before, I don't care what religion you follow. I don't care what you do in your life. I don't care who you vote for. I respect your rights to do whatever, all that, as long as you're not hurting other people or yourself, really, but mostly other people. If you're trying to force your stuff on people, that's different. But so I don't really care about that kind of that stuff. So the imagery didn't bother me, but I thought it looked cool. And I think they had 7 or 8 people in the band. There was a lead singer, 2 lead guitar players, bass player, maybe, a guitar player, a keyboard player, 2 backup singers, and the drummer. So it was a big stage. And the backup singers were, I think they were dressed as nuns. So the show starts. They're doing great. The stage presence of the band is fantastic. We were sitting. If you were looking at the stage, we were sitting on the right side, so we were off to the right, like in line with the stage. And like one of the guitar players is always on that side. One's always on the other side. They kind of walk to the middle here and there, but they're always generally on one side or the other. So they did a very good job of keeping you engaged and like making it like they care. Maybe I'm assuming they do care that you're there and they appreciate it. Lead singer, good vocals, got kind of a raspier voice. Someone said it's a different lead singer than originally. I don't know. I didn't look it up before this. I should have, but I don't think it is. But like I said, he's very definitely a bit of Alice Cooper there. The show was great. The stage show was great. The lighting was great. At one point, the projected stained glass windows crumble, and there was like a glimpse of like hell. So now me and my buddy know what it's going to be like where we're going. So that's good to have that heads up. And when it came to the sound, usually at concerts, especially there, they either turn the sound up constantly through the show to where it's like ear piercing, and not ear piercing, but like it just you don't hear like stuff clearly. Now I don't know if it was because we were sitting on the side, so we weren't in direct line of the speakers, or if it's because they just did a better job. But the sound quality for the show was fantastic. The fan participation was great. It was a great show. Now, a couple people have said, was it worth the ticket price? Because I was kind of complaining about the ticket price. Because I didn't ask what the price was last November when my buddy said, hey, you want me to get the tickets? I need to know because they're going to sell out. A side note to that, there were lots of seats open. Now, it might have been because Lollapalooza. I don't know. They did have a lot of audience. Don't get me wrong. 3/4 of that place was filled. Maybe more. Maybe 7/8. but there was a fair amount still open. And when you went to buy tickets, it said like reseller seats. And it's like, oh, so those are the jagoffs that buy them and sell them higher. But there were still some normal ones left too, which is what made it funny when I saw outside the sign said sold out for 3 days. So, but it was a big audience. They did, like I said, Lollapalooza was playing at the same time, so I'm sure, they lost some people for that, and it was relatively full. But the tickets initially, I was told $60 a person, so $120 for me and my daughter. Well, I don't know what fees and shit got tacked on, but I thought there was some lawsuit against Ticketmaster saying, hey, you can't just charge $500 in fees. And they were like, okay, we're sorry. Well, apparently they do again, because at the end of the day, I think I paid $160 for the two of us. So, yeah. So, it was the first time stupid little fly. It was the first time they headlined their show. They didn't have an opening act. So it was just them, and they played for 2 hours or so, and they did a great job. And they didn't preach politics. He mentioned, hey, I know some people are worried, but the future is coming, and things always change. And that was it. He didn't get into anything. And when they did the encores, they didn't leave the stage. He's like, we're not playing that game. We know what you want. We're going to come out, and we know we're going to come out and do them. So let's just play them. And he did 3 or 4 songs. Really well done. Was it worth the price? I mean, that's what I paid for Maiden. Or not me, but that's what, they were a birthday present for me, and they were like $70. That's Iron Maiden, and that was Ghost opening. So it's 2 bands, 3 hours worth of music, 4 hours worth of music. I think it was the Iron Maiden Book of Souls tour. But I guess if you put it in today's perspective, I mean, I saw Ozzy Osbourne, it wasn't that much either. But I guess if you put it in today's perspective, what money is called, I guess it was, I'd say, Friday I would have said no, but that's why I waited to do this. I'd say yes, it was worth it. It was an entertaining show, and they left you wanting more, which I was surprised. I didn't think I was gonna. Yeah. At one point, they launched out fake money into the audience, and they're dollar bills, or not dollar bills, but they look like dollar bills. They have the lead singer's face on them, and the money amount is 666. Like I said, they're more of a dark metal band. But yeah, I think it was worth it. I think it was a good show. So that's all I got on it. I recommend them if you like heavy metal, or if you like metal, hard rock, dark metal. And as long as you don't care that, they kind of mock the Christianity and the Catholic, religions in general, I guess. But, but none of that bothered me. The music was good, and I didn't care. So if you're like me, you might like them. Look them up. So anyways, I will talk to you soon. I appreciate your views, and have a great day.